Picture yourself walking through a quiet forest on a warm summer evening. The golden light of the sun flickers through the trees. Birds are singing, and a gentle breeze carries the scent of wildflowers. It feels peaceful, safe. But hidden beneath the grass, clinging to leaves and branches, there are creatures so small, so silent, that you may never notice them. Yet, with a single bite, they can change your life forever. These tiny creatures are ticks. They are parasites, always waiting for their next meal. Unlike the annoying buzz of a mosquito, a tick makes no sound, gives no warning. It simply latches onto your skin, numbing the area with its own chemicals so you don't feel a thing. Then it begins to feed. And while it feeds, it may inject dangerous bacteria directly into your bloodstream. One of the most dangerous of these bacteria is Borrelia burgdorferi, a spiral-shaped microbe responsible for Lyme disease, a condition that has now spread across the world, quietly becoming one of the most common and misunderstood infectious diseases of our time. The story of Lyme disease begins in the small town of Lyme, Connecticut, back in the mid-1970s. Families started reporting unusual symptoms, joint pain, swelling, fatigue, even in children. At first, doctors thought it was just a strange form of arthritis, but the truth turned out to be much darker. They discovered that the culprit wasn't a genetic disorder or a virus. It was something carried by ticks. Since then, Lyme disease has spread far and wide. Climate change has made the problem worse. Warmer winters and longer summers mean ticks survive longer and spread into new regions. Places that once had no history of Lyme disease are now reporting cases every year. In the United States alone, nearly 500,000 people are diagnosed with Lyme annually. Across Europe and Asia, the numbers are also climbing. Scientists now believe that 1 in 10 people worldwide may have already been infected. But here's where the danger grows. Lyme disease doesn't always look the same. In some patients, it begins with fatigue, headaches, or muscle pain. In others, it causes strange rashes, numbness, or even paralysis of the face. The bacteria can move through the body, invading the joints, the nervous system, the heart, the bladder, even the brain. It is a master of disguise, imitating other illnesses and confusing even experienced doctors. And that's exactly why so many patients are misdiagnosed or dismissed. For decades, people with Lyme symptoms were told it was all in their head. In the early 1990s, there was even a heated debate in the medical community over whether many patients were simply hypochondriacs. Imagine suffering with nerve pain, fatigue, or memory loss, only to be told you're imagining it. That disbelief still lingers today. Take the story of Sue Nelson, a science writer. In June of 2023, she was bitten during a wildflower walk. Soon after, she developed a rash on her stomach. It grew larger and larger, yet 3 different doctors told her it wasn't Lyme disease. Why? Because it didn't look like the classic bullseye rash that doctors are trained to expect. She was given antifungal creams, then antibacterial ointments, even antihistamines. Nothing worked. The rash kept spreading until it covered her entire stomach and circled her knee. By the time she was finally diagnosed correctly in the United States, the bacteria had already spread through her system. Her story isn't unique. Richard Wilson, a filmmaker, was bitten by a tick in 2016. He found the tick still attached, and a rash developed soon after. But because it wasn't a bullseye, he was told it wasn't Lyme disease. For years, his health declined. He was sent for countless tests, even had his gallbladder removed, but nothing improved. It wasn't until nearly 8 years later that a test finally came back positive for Lyme. By then, years of damage had been done. He believes that if he had simply been given antibiotics at the start, his life would have been completely different. And then there are the celebrities, people with fame, money, and access to some of the best doctors in the world. Yet even they struggled for years before getting the right diagnosis. Justin Bieber, Avril Lavigne, Shania Twain, Bella Hadid, Amy Schumer, and Justin Timberlake have all spoken publicly about their battles. Timberlake described being on stage, singing in front of thousands, while suffering from unbearable nerve pain. If people like them had to fight to be believed, imagine the struggle for ordinary patients. The cruel reality is that early treatment is critical. A simple course of antibiotics like doxycycline can stop the disease in its tracks if caught in time. But when misdiagnosed or ignored, Lyme disease becomes far more dangerous. Many patients go on to develop what's known as post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome. Symptoms persist for months, even years, leaving people with constant fatigue, brain fog, nerve pain, and joint damage. Some can no longer work, others lose their independence, and many are left in despair. Frustrated with limited options, some turn to alternative treatments, herbal remedies like oil of oregano, cat's claw bark, reishi mushroom, wormwood, and resveratrol. While some studies suggest these may help, the evidence is still thin, and most haven't been tested in large clinical trials. Others try controversial methods like hyperthermia, where the body is heated to extreme levels to kill bacteria. Doctors remain divided, and patients are left desperate for answers. One of the biggest tragedies is that we actually had a vaccine. Back in the late 1990s, Limerix was released to the public and worked against Lyme disease. But just a few years later, in 2002, it was withdrawn due to low sales, fear of side effects, and a growing public distrust of vaccines. Today, with Lyme disease spreading faster than ever, experts call it outrageous that a proven vaccine was lost. The good news? Pfizer is now working on a new vaccine, currently in advanced trials. If successful, it could return to the market in the next few years and finally provide a shield against this invisible epidemic. Until then, the best defense is awareness. If you spend time outdoors, wear protective clothing. Check yourself and your pets for ticks after every walk. Keep a pair of tweezers handy to remove any you might find. And most importantly, don't ignore strange symptoms. A rash, unexplained fatigue, nerve pain, or brain fog could all be signs of Lyme disease. Doctors and scientists remain hopeful. Medicine is advancing rapidly. In the next decade, we may see new vaccines, faster diagnostic tests, and more effective treatments. But right now, too many people are still suffering in silence. Too many are misdiagnosed, dismissed, or told their illness isn't real. Lyme disease is not just a health problem. It is a growing global crisis. The next time you walk through a forest or a field of tall grass, Remember, nature is beautiful, but it can also be dangerous. Sometimes, the smallest bite can change the course of your entire life. So spread the word. Protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Because the more we know about Lyme disease, the more lives we can save. And if this story opened your eyes, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more powerful stories that reveal the hidden dangers shaping our world today.